people who aren't acknowledging it or. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another engaging Midday Mastery. These sessions are proudly presented by the Professional Development Advisory Group in Realtors Real Estate School. They're designed to offer bite-sized information, stimulates your thinking, and encourages ongoing education within our industry. The Professional Development Advisory Group is dedicated to selecting topics, classes, and events that bring tangible value to our members at CAR. Today, we are extremely excited to present another fantastic topic and an all-star lineup of speakers/role players. But before we dive into this, we would love to invite our co-chair, Sherri Jordan, to read the antitrust statement. Sherri?
Thank you, Lonzetta. The antitrust statement. Please be aware of the fact that those present today are in the real estate brokerage business and many individuals are located in the same market areas. As a result, antitrust laws require that there be no discussion at this meeting concerning certain competitive business practices, such as the amount of fees, commissions, splits, salesperson compensation, or the boycotting of other real estate firms. The chair or assigned staff person will stop the discussion and/or the meeting should the conversation move into these areas of potential antitrust violation.
Thank you so much, Sherri. And without further ado, we're going to jump into this session. I would love to introduce our co-host, Lanora Tolliver.
Good afternoon, everyone. On this episode of our Midday Mastery session, we're going to look at the Realtor mishaps and show you a few scenes related to the tales from the field. So in the first scene, we're going to look at the tales of the Century Lock access. And you'll see that our particular actors will include Sabrina as Sarah, Dean as the seller, and Stephanie as our buyer. So you guys have at least 10 minutes max to be able to complete your scene. Let's go.
We're following a real estate agent, Sarah, who's arrived at a property listing slightly earlier than her scheduled showing time. She has Century Lock access, so she decides to let herself and her clients, the Johnsons, inside the home. Sarah knocks on the front door.
It's Sarah with ABC Realty and the Johnson family for our 2 p.m. showing.
There's no response.
I have access to the lockbox. I'll just let us in.
Sarah opens the door and they enter the foyer.
Feel free to look around, Johnsons. I'll be right behind you.
Suddenly, a loud, angry voice is heard from upstairs.
Who's there? Get out of my house.
Oh my, someone's home.
Hello? I'm so sorry. I should have double-checked before entering. I'm the realtor, and I have the Johnsons here for our scheduled 2 p.m. showing.
The seller comes down the stairs wrapped in a towel, angry.
It's 1:45. You're early. I was in the shower.
I apologize profusely, Mr. Sellers. I thought I could let myself in a little early since I had access to the lockbox.
You can't just barge into someone's home unannounced like that. This is an invasion of privacy. There should be a law against this.
Sir, I understand you're upset, but it was an honest mistake. We'll give you some space and wait outside until our actual appointment time.
You're absolutely right, Mr. Sellers. We'll head back outside and re-knock at 2 p.m. sharp. Again, I'm so sorry for this intrusion.
Better yet, leave and don't come back.
Sarah and the Johnsons quickly exit the home.
Thank you, everyone. Now we'll have an actual debrief from our Professional Standards Committee to show if a violation has been made.
Thank you so much for that scene. I think it's a scene that happens more frequently than we would like to see it happen. This is a violation of our code of ethics. It's also potentially goes into trespassing, which would be a criminal offense. So for our or code of ethics, professional standards, this would be covered in Article 1 and also Article 3 of the Code of Ethics. In Article 1, it would be a standard of practice 16, if you're going to follow along and look up those rules later. And in Article 3, it would be the standard of practice 9. So entering prior to a confirmed showing, or entering after a confirmed showing, or obviously on a date that without a confirmed showing, would all be a violation of potentially Article 1 and Article 3. This violation comes with a $2,500 fine or citation. And with the Chicago Association of Realtor citation program, these can often be proven pretty easily, either with a camera, somebody's home, a Ring camera, a central lock box that has access, an alarm code, things like that. A realtor could, or a member of the public could file a citation for that $2,500 fine. So it's a pretty big penalty, and rightfully so. Accessing other people's home is a privilege that we have as realtors, and we need to make sure that we're using that access appropriately.
Cara, thank you for sharing that information about the citation, the dollar amount. Definitely one of those realtor mishaps we don't want to experience in the field. So let's take a look at scene number 2 of our realtor mishaps tales. And this scene, we're going to discuss how everybody can't come. Our actors in the scene will be Jenny, played by Sabrina, Mr. Smith, played by Dean, future Mrs. Smith, played by Stephanie, Rose, played by Lyle, and Terry, our seller's agent, played by Alison. You all have 10 minutes. Thank you.
Today, we're following Jenny, a real estate agent showing a listing to her clients, the Smith family. Unbeknownst to the seller's agent, Mr. and the soon-to-be Mrs. Smith have brought along a few of their family members, including Mr. Smith's elderly mother, to get her input on the home. What should have been a routine showing takes an unfortunate turn.
Here we are at 123 Oak Street. Are you all excited to see this beautiful 4-bedroom home?
Absolutely. And thank you again for accommodating our family. Their opinion means everything to us.
Thank you. And by the way, that's Miss Rose to you. At my age, I know a good home when I see one.
They entered the home and proceeded the stairs leading up.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Terry, the seller's agent, though I wasn't made aware that there would be additional guests today.
My apologies, Terry. This is the Smiths' first home, and their family opinion means a lot to them.
I see. Well, please, everyone, watch your step as you go up. The stairs are a bit narrow.
As they start up the stairs, Rose loses her footing.
Oh, my Lord! Somebody catch me!
She starts to fall, but Mr. Smith catches her.
Mama, are you okay?
I'm fine. I am fine. But I knew when that girl asked me to take off my Jimmy Choos, this was not going to end well, because I have not walked in flats in 50 years. I have Barbie feet. But I tell you right now, my knee is hurting.
Someone quickly get her a chair.
Terry rushes in.
Ma'am, are you hurt? Should we call an ambulance?
No, I just tripped. This knee is gonna need some ice, and if somebody could hand me one of those Virginia Slims out of my bag, I'd appreciate it, because I need something to calm my nerves.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We should have taken more precautions with Mrs. Rose's mobility.
The safety of our guest is of the utmost importance. Please bring the first aid kit right away.
What started as an exciting showing took a concerning turn due to unforeseen circumstances. Open communication about all attendees and special needs is crucial to ensure everyone's well-being during the showings.
There a violation made Was there a citation of some sort due? Next, we'll have a member of our professional standards committee explain.
Would appear to be a violation of the code of ethics in this particular case, but I think it's certainly a great conversation to have about setting expectations, best practices, and communication. Stephanie, do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a violation. You know, sometimes you end up in a situation where there's like 10 people coming in for a showing, and you might want to let the other agent know that this is kind of what's going to happen. I'm sure we've all experienced that. And communication is absolutely the key so that the other agent can be prepared and to avoid any, you know, kind of adverse situations.
Potentially setting an expectation with the client as well in advance of the showing too. Just, you know, who can we expect will be attending the inspection, whatever appointment, whatever showing. It's interesting.
Okay. So what I hear from our professional standards.
Similar circumstance happened, timely midday mastery.
Thank you so much. From what I hear from our professional standards committee is courtesy, a simple courtesy call to bring an update or to adjust how many people will be attending that showing would be suffice. All right, so let's take another look, the next look at another realtor mishap. In this scene, we're going to take a closer look at the code to clients. And our actors will be Michael, played by Dean, Susan, played by Sabrina, Sam, played by Lyle, and our seller will be Stephanie. You all have 10 minutes. Thank you.
We're following Michael, an eager real estate agent running late for a showing with his clients, the Wilsons. Stuck in heavy traffic, he decides to provide them with the lockbox code to go ahead without him. Little does he know, this decision and conversation is caught on the seller's Ring doorbell camera. Michael on the phone.
Hey, Sarah, it's Michael. I am so sorry. I am stuck in gridlock traffic due to an accident up ahead. I don't want to make you all wait any longer.
No worries, Michael. We understand these things happen. We were just standing outside in front of the house. Should we just reschedule?
No, actually, I can give you the lockbox code if you don't mind going in without me, and then I can just catch up when I get there. The code is 2580#. Go ahead and look around, and I'll join you as soon as I can.
Are you sure that's okay? Shouldn't we wait for you?
The sellers know we're coming, so it should be fine. I'll be there in 20 minutes tops.
All right, then, if you insist. See you soon, Michael.
The Wilsons proceed up the seller's porch and punch in the lockbox code and open the door.
Hello, we're the Wilsons here for the 2 p.m. showing. Our agent's running late, but he gave us a lockbox code to start without him.
There's no response, and the Wilsons enter the home. The seller comes out from the kitchen.
Sorry, I was just stepping out for your showing. May I ask who's the agent, and can I have your card, please?
You're on mute, Lyle.
No wonder nobody could hear me. All right. We don't have a card. Our agent was caught in traffic, but he'll be here in 20 minutes, and he just told us to go on in.
But our agent, Michael, said it would be all right since he got permission to show and you knew we were coming.
It most certainly did not. He should have not allowed access to my home without my permission. I'm sorry, he should not have allowed access to my home unattended. I'm going to call my agent about this right now.
Michael runs in, out of breath.
I'm so sorry, everyone. There was an intense traffic jam, and I made the mistake of giving my clients the code without checking first. I'm so sorry.
This is absolutely unacceptable, audacious behavior. I have the entire thing recorded on my Ring camera as evidence, and I will be filing a complaint.
This has been a tough lesson for Michael on proper real estate protocol. Entering someone's home without permitted access, even without a code, can have serious consequences.
I wonder if there was some sort of violation. Next, we'll hear from our professional standards team. You're muted, Freddie.
This scenario is in violation of Article 1 and Article 3 of the Code of Ethics, specifically Standard of Practice. Article 1-16 states that realtors shall now access or use or permit or enable others to access or use listed or managed property on terms or conditions other than those authorized by the owner or seller. Article 3-9 Standard of Practice states that realtors shall not provide access to listed property on terms other than those established by the owner or the seller. It is important to understand that your permission to access a property is not a universal one that goes to others within your showing group or others that are on your team. When I say team, if you are the team lead and you are the one who submits a showing request, that request is not universally allowed for others on your team. So just something to get in the habit of is just making it very apparent of the person who's physically going to show the property is the one that has access to it.
I think this is a bigger no-no than arriving early. So I know a lot of agents do this. This is terrible. You can't let your clients, run rogue into someone else's home. I think that I know lately I've been asked who exactly is going to be entering because it's very, very important.
And this is, if I could just piggyback on that, this is the #1 violation that the Professional Standards Committee has, like above and beyond anything else is unauthorized access. And it's just so easy to not do, but people keep doing it.
There are additional concerns as well. Obviously, this could be trespass violation, which would be potentially a criminal offense. Is an MRED rules violation as well. That comes with a $250 fine, along with that $2,500 fine we talked about in the previous lockbox scenario. But it also opens up the agent, particular clients, the brokerage, and potentially both brokerages to a lot of liability. So, if something got broken, if somebody got hurt, if something went missing, there are a lot of other implications here as well when you've got people who are unattended in a property, even if they're your best friend or a family member, somebody you really trust. There are all kinds of concerns that impact lots of different people as a part of this violation.
And it's just like, do your job. I mean, your job is to accompany your clients. So I don't understand why you're not your job.
I like the end of all of that. Simply do your job.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that, Stephanie. All right. Well, thank you all for your input on that scene. We're going to take a look at our fourth and final scene, which in terms of our realtor mishaps, will center around presenting offers post, highest, and best. In this scenario, we will have Karen will be our seller's agent, played by Stephanie. The seller will be played by Sabrina. Jim will be our buyer's agent, and he will be played by Dean. We'll have 10 minutes to complete. Thank you.
It's a sizzling seller's market, and we're following Karen, a real estate agent, expertly navigating the multiple offer frenzy on her hot listing. After calling for highest and best offers with a firm deadline, Karen finds herself in a dilemma when a late offer comes through. How she handles this situation will put her professional ethics to the test. Karen speaks with the seller.
Ms. Sellers, with 6 solid offers on the table, I recommend we go with the highest and best process. Let's set a deadline for final offers by noon this Tuesday. That will give interested buyers ample time to submit their strongest bids. How's that sound?
That sounds like a wise strategy in this competitive market. I trust your judgment, Karen. Let's do it.
Karen promptly notifies all the buyer's agents about the highest and best deadline by email and through the MLS. Tuesday rolls around, and by the noon deadline, Karen has collected 5 stellar offers to present to her seller client. The seller chooses the one she wants to select, and the winning bidder is notified. Karen's phone rings at 3:07 p.m.
Hi, Karen, this is Jim. I know the
Hello,
deadline
this
was. I'm sorry, I jumped on you. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Hello, this is Karen.
Hi, Karen, this is Jim. I know the deadline was noon today, but my clients really want to make an offer on your listing. I just sent it to your email. Would you be able to present it?
Thanks so much, Jim. I appreciate you reaching out. However, we established a clear highest and best deadline that has now passed. More importantly, my sellers have already accepted one of the offers that came in before noon. It would be unfair for me to present a late offer after that decision has been made.
But Karen, my clients are free to submit an offer whenever they want. You have to at least present it.
Yeah, while that's true in general, by calling for highest and best, we created a window for final submission. I have a fiduciary duty to uphold and agreed upon rules and protect my seller's best interests. Presenting a late offer could put their accepted contract at risk of falling through. I do recognize your client's interest, but my hands are tied on this one, Jim. I hope you understand.
Thanks, everyone. We will now have a member of our Professional Standards Committee take a look to see if a violation or some sort of citation is required for this scenario.
So there is a violation here of the Code of Ethics, and there are a number of standards of practice it violates. Standard of practice, so Article 1, Standard of Practice 6, Article 1, Standard of Practice 7, and Article 1, Standard of Practice of 8, all revolve around submitting all offers and counteroffers objectively and quickly, and all the way providing all of those offers all the way up until closing. So even after an executed contract, even if it's the day of closing, we are required to submit all offers and counteroffers to our clients.
And
Okay.
another, I'm
Go
so
ahead.
sorry.
No, go
Another
ahead.
consideration here is to perhaps use that offer that came in after the deadline as a backup offer. This gives the seller some additional, I guess, be able to negotiate a little bit more aggressively when it comes to things like inspection requests, because you have another backup offer to lean on. So that's another consideration here about presenting that one.
I actually had this exact situation yesterday. It's a long backstory, but a broker called me back because the original contract was falling through, and he said, "Is your client still interested?" And I said, "Yes," but he said, "Well, where did we leave off in our negotiations?" I said, "Well, where we left off is not relevant." I said, "The offer today is going to be different," and I gave him a number, and he said, "Well, the seller's not going to take that." I said, "Okay." And he said, "Well, did you want me to present that?" I said, "Of course I want you to present that. That's the offer." So he wasn't even going to tell the seller that there was this offer. I mean, you don't know what the seller's going to do. I'm like, that's your job to, again, do your job. That's your job to take that offer to the seller. So I just don't understand. Like, why wouldn't you tell the seller what the other offer is? That's the seller's decision on whether to accept it or not accept it or counter it or whatever they're going to do. So that happens all the time too, and it is a violation.
Just a simple concept to drilling your brain that's any and all offers you present to the seller.
In a timely manner.
In a
Right.
timely manner, correct.
Right, next
I
we'll have
love that.
Sherri. Okay. We'll have Sherri to come and begin our Q&A session at this time.
Great job, everybody. We do have a couple of follow-up questions that we know that we get a lot, and we're sure that our other industry professionals get as well. So one of our first questions is, what is the process of filing an ethics complaint in violation?
So to file an ethics complaint, well, first I would tell you to always talk to your managing broker. They are going to be your best resource in how to move forward. Otherwise, you know, in collaboration with your managing broker, you can go to Chicago Realtors website and file an ethics violation, an ethics complaint. You can also file a citation if it's something like a lockbox, something that's simple. And there are a number of the code of ethics that are incorporated into the citation process, which is a much more quick and easy process. These are things that are usually can be proved relatively easily and doesn't require a significant amount of time. So the citation process, if the violation falls within the citation parameters, otherwise they can go online to file a full ethics complaint. But again, I would talk to your managing broker.
Thank you for that, Kara. And when you're filing a complaint, how do you know when you should contact IDFPR versus going to your local association?
Sure. So our code of ethics is governed by National Association of Realtors, and each of the local associations has this process, which you can start online. Not all of our code of ethics are also license law violations. So it never hurts to start with the local association call or email CAR. They're fantastic. Their support teams are amazing. They'll give you directions. Your managing broker, again, should be your first stop. They can help you. You might be in a situation where there's you know, an ethics violation as well as a license law violation. Those could be submitted separately together, and those processes can kind of see themselves through.
Fantastic. I would also like to know, because this gets misconstrued a lot. Do you have to, is it required that you call for for highest and best when receiving multiple offers?
That is not a requirement.
No,
you do not have to call for highest and best. Your seller, you and your seller in consultation can determine how you move forward with negotiations on an offer. And I know we do get complaints about that frequently, where someone says, well, my offer was higher than the number that, you know, they took that was reported on the MLS after closing. And so I think that there was, you know, some foul play happening, and, you know, it's not always about the price, right? There are terms and lots of other, you know, items that can really sway a seller to choose one offer over another. But no, you're not required to do a highest and best. And I always tell my buyers to submit their highest and best if they really want the house, their highest and best for that particular property at least, because we never know if we're going to get another opportunity to negotiate.
Thank you so much for clearing that up. My next question is, can you break down the 3 components of a complaint and let me know if you need a little more depth into that question?
I don't know that there's different components. I think, you know, you explain what the infraction is, and, you know, maybe it's a violation and maybe it isn't, but I think the most important thing is when you're part of the public, you want to be heard. And the same with an agent if you're making a complaint. But no, it's what's the violation, or what's the perceived infraction, and explain that very clearly so that whoever's making the determination whether or not it's an ethics violation has a complete understanding.
The only other component I can think of is that these complaints must be filed within 180 days of the violation, or when you first were maybe aware of the violation. So there is a time frame to get these complaints filed, 180 days. And if there's other pieces, other information you can share that would help us answer that question, let us know.
I mean, the only other thing I can think of is the type of dispute that it is, because we offer mediation, ethics complaints, and arbitration. Mediation is just going to be kind of, you know, hopefully that both parties can kind of come to a successful resolution with one another. You know, ethics complaints is to report anything that is a violation of our code of ethics. And arbitration is to submit a monetary or commission disputes. So again, as Kara had mentioned, if you visit the chicagorealtor.com website, and if you click on membership, there is a dispute resolution tab that kind of goes over those processes very detailed, so that you know, after you discuss with your managing broker, you kind of know what route to go in. But this is an excellent tool and resource for all of our realtors to utilize.
Thank you. Thank you for that well-rounded answer. I know, you know, as we all know, the realtor community is very small. So sometimes people want to file a complaint. However, they do not want to be known. When you're filing a complaint, can you file it anonymously?
I don't believe you can file anonymously. You can start with the Ombudsman program, which is a very informal process. It involves just, you know, the member services department at CAR, wherever you call or email in about your concern. They'll connect you with a trained ombudsman. So some of the professional standards committee, we do, like Freddy mentioned, we have arbitration hearing cases, ethics hearing cases, mediation, which is where we typically start with money issues, not with ethics. But then there's the ombudsman program, and sometimes somebody just wants an apology or wants to understand what happened. Maybe they don't want to go through the full process. Maybe it's not even an ethics violation, but they feel somehow aggrieved. The ombudsman program is a great opportunity for somebody to just sort of have a one-on-one conversation with a member of the ombudsman team, who will then facilitate a conversation with the other party and try to work out whatever that person's looking for. And oftentimes it's just an understanding, clarification, or an apology. And we try to make that happen, just to keep all of our realtor members on good terms with each other.
And I want to just jump in and add one additional thing to that, is that we've launched at the Illinois Realtors state level ethics mediation over the past year. So that's an additional tool, like it's sort of between ombudsman and an ethics hearing. And it just allows parties to get together on Zoom or at a table and talk about what happened. To Kara's point, sometimes people just want an apology or they just want to be heard. So we don't have an ethics mediation program at CAR yet, but you can go through IR and apply for ethics mediation if that's a route that you want to go.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for that tidbit, Lyle. I have one more question. Are there any violations or code of ethics infractions surrounding escalation clauses?
I haven't seen any ethics violations around that are, you know, a violation of code of ethics. I haven't seen any cases brought forth. That being said, you know, I only see a small percentage of those cases. I don't know if Freddie or Stephanie have any experience with.
I have not, I do not.
I think what I've maybe witnessed before in my own transactions that could potentially be an ethics violation is it kind of goes back to that presenting offers timely. I will frequently have a response from an agent that they're not accepting escalation clauses. And that's entirely possible. If your seller does not want to entertain an escalation clause, that should be an instruction provided in writing by the seller. So if you're going to turn those down, so I've had that instance where agents have said, thanks so much for your offer, we're not accepting escalation clauses. Well, two things, they need to still present that offer. It may be good communication that they're telling me that maybe they're not going to consider that offer, but they still have to present it. And I did go so far as to say, great, can you provide that written instruction from your seller client that they're not accepting escalation clauses? Because I think what happens is people that don't understand or know or feel comfortable negotiating with escalation clauses will just ask to not include them. So I think that could be, go to an ethics violation if they're not submitting those offers with escalation clauses, or if they're denying an escalation clause, that's essentially denying, an offer, and they can't do that without the seller's express permission.
I 100% agree. I think that 9 times out of 10, it's because the agent doesn't understand what an escalation clause is and how to negotiate it. And so they just tell the seller, let's just not do this. And it's probably to the detriment of the seller.
Or they don't tell the seller at all.
Right.
Which is an even bigger
They just come back to you, we don't, seller, we're not doing this. Well, okay, why? And I'm not understanding, because it's very simple. I don't know.
Yeah, escalation clauses can definitely be your friend.
And another thing to consider here is whether or not the seller at the beginning of taking on the listing has allowed you to disclose the existence of other offers. If they did not allow you to disclose the existence of other offers, then the probability of you receiving these escalation clauses pretty much dwindle down to none. So that's another, depending on whether that disclosure was met or not, that could also be a violation if they said not to and you did anyway. So
I think just to piggyback on what Kara and Stephanie have said, the important thing to remember here is that as an agent, we don't make the decision about escalation clauses. We can educate our clients and tell them how they work. And if our client says, I don't want anything to do with that, then that's fine. Right. But we can't just make the decision, I'm not going to do that. Like, that's not okay. So that's where I think a potential ethics violation would probably come in. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, and asking for the agent to put that in writing, that's at the seller's direction, that we're not going to accept escalation clauses.
Thank you so much for that. And there will be some other links that are available below this video if you're watching us on YouTube for some other information and where you can get some more answers to your questions. For now, I will hand it back to Lanora Tolliver so we can learn about these upcoming classes.
Thank you, Sherri. I want to give a great big round of applause and a big thank you for everyone in attendance today, all of our phenomenal actors, and the great collaboration between our professional development advisory group and the professional standards committee. So kudos to you all for bringing this Midday Mastery realtor mishaps, the tales from the field. So we learned about 4 scenarios. We learned about infractions. We learned about citations and violations and the time frame to file any said complaints. So thank you all for your knowledge, your expertise, and sharing that with us. Over at the Realtors Real Estate School, just because it's the summer doesn't mean you can stop learning. I wanted to bring first just a bit of advice to our residential leasing agents. If you are licensed currently with the active residential leasing agent license, you have a renewal that's due by the end of July. July 31st is your renewal date. You want to complete the 8 hours of continuing education, of course, through the Realtors Real Estate School. We have that self-paced option for you to get done. Shouldn't take more than a few days to do it, if that long. And it's valued at $65. So if you don't know how to reach me, if you don't know how to reach the continuing education options for CE or any of our designations or certifications, be sure to click on www.chicagorealtor.com. Take a look at our classes and training. You'll find all of our Midday Masteries there, including this one soon under our skill building classes. Take a look at those classes there. Any designations or certifications will be on that page, and we'll pick right back up with additional pre-licensing classes in August. September, October, November, December, we'll finish off the year strong with more designations and certifications. So thank you for joining us on this episode of the Midday Mastery Realtor Mishaps, Tales from the Field. We look forward to see you on the very next episode. Ta-ta for now.